What's up, everyone? This is Mayan Gordon. I am live at 5, and today we're going to talk about some TikTok. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been wondering what's going on in TikTok world. Are there any new things you should know about? Or maybe you're just still wondering, how do you even get started? So I've got a wee little bit of a presentation for you guys. And as always, if you're watching right now, I would so much appreciate it if you would share this live stream, whether that's to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever it is you like to share content. And if you would comment one thing that you are grateful for today. So let's do a screen share here. Give me one moment. Here we go. There it is. So the way that I'm going to talk about getting onto TikTok today is through education. I believe that any brand can really launch through a series of educational videos. Let's see, hopefully, there we go. Computer can load in time. And the reason that this can work for absolutely any business is that as a business, you hold information that other people do not have. In fact, you've been required to research that information, to find out that information, to look into it on a deeper level, typically, than the average customer. Therefore, you have this amazing value to offer your customers. Another really interesting factor is that, oh, see, this is updated. This is all already a couple months old. I'm already at 2 million followers, need to update that. But the reason that educating your customers is not only good in terms of driving loyalty, because they value that information, because you're telling them things that they can go validate and they find out you're telling the truth. So that builds a system of trust. But also because when people see the value and understand why something is more valuable, they're usually willing to spend more money on it. So a good example of that would be someone who's looking to buy a guitar, who goes into a guitar shop. If they don't know anything about guitars, if they hear that one of the guitars is $1,500 and another is $200, in their head, they're going to go, why would I ever spend $1,500 when I could just get one that looks the same for $200? In fact, this is something that's true in almost every single business and industry, is there are going to be options that are probably more expensive than you and options that are less expensive than you. And if you fall in the range, especially of that, higher end, more expensive product or service, your customer is really going to have to understand the value difference and understand why they should be spending more money with you or on a particular product. So here's a little background on me and my education. Education's played a really important part in my life. I started out at a really, really small private Jewish school where the classes were about, 15 to 30 kids. When they were 30 kids, they would split us up into two groups because it was too big for one teacher to handle 30 kids at a time. And the entire school was, 100 kids or so. So very, very small school. Then for middle school, I went to a public school in South Seattle where it was maybe, 3% white Caucasian population. I would say, 70 to 80% Black and African American, and then another, 20% to 30, 25% Asian and other ethnicities. So that was a really different experience for me, but really was a cool immersive experience that I look back to and does help me relate to people who grew up a different way than me, or at least grew up in that scenario. I have some insight into how people thought because I would hang out with those kids and talk to them. Although I wasn't super popular, I wasn't super good friends with any of them. Just being around people, I've been always someone who is very observant. I learn a lot through observation and watching people and kind of feeling the energy that is around different people and between different groups. After that, I went to high school at Lakeside School, which is a really, really advanced, privileged white school. It's not a white school, but it's a mostly white school with, I'd say, 30 to 40% diversity in it. And it just had phenomenal resources when it came to technology. It had phenomenal teachers who left higher paying jobs at universities to come work at the school because of the atmosphere and the environment that really promoted people to be ambitious, to care about their education and learning. So I've always valued that. But then I went to Occidental College and I dropped out because I didn't see any value in the college system the way that it was set up, or at least the college that I went to. And from then on, I've always been thinking about education and the role it plays in people's developments because of my own diverse experiences in education and my ability to look back and reflect on those. So, can TikTok be used for education? Most absolutely. And I'm about to give you 5 reasons. Also, if you guys have any questions, please post them in the comments. I'm going to check those out here at the end of this presentation. Again, it's pretty short. It's pretty much just these 5 reasons. Then we'll get to any questions. So, hashtag EduTalk is huge on TikTok. Again, it's definitely well over 100 billion by now. And there are many, many other educational hashtags, such as hashtag math or math tricks. Hashtag science is at least 6 or 8 billion last time I checked. So there's a huge amount of interest in people watching videos where they learn something. We also, so again, one of the reasons we like learning things is because it empowers us and it makes us feel good about ourselves. It also makes us more capable and it allows us to achieve things that we didn't believe we could achieve before. It's like a brain unlock to doors of opportunity, I would say optimism and execution. When you are more hopeful about something, you are more likely to act on it. So the noblest pleasure is the joy of understanding. It's a great quote by Leonardo da Vinci. I think artists have a really unique perspective on learning because art can be taught in a technical way, but it also is something that comes from other senses and observations and abilities. All right, so you can show off the social aspects of learning through TikTok videos, meaning you're not just talking about or showing or demonstrating in a TikTok video the subject matter, you're also showcasing the human interaction between a student and a teacher, between a student and another student, between a parent and their child. And we are fascinated in how people interact with each other and also being able to see that learning creates community and that when people learn together, they form tighter bonds, I think is something that for the very first time is really on a large scale being shown and felt through TikTok. Oops. There we go. TikTok makes learning any subject quick and easy by forcing the creator to really minimalize how they're delivering the content. If you can't teach someone something in less than 60 seconds on TikTok, first of all, you can't even post that video. Secondly, people probably won't watch the whole video if you can't really force it down into, let's say, 10 or 20 seconds. This makes people really think about how can you teach something to someone without all of the extra stuff. And you know what? All that extra stuff is a lot of times what gets in the way of us learning and really, I would say, digesting material in a way that sticks, not just a way where we learn it once, but in a way where we learn it forever. So the other reason is that as TikTok progresses both with its algorithm and its AI, and as you progress with using it, it becomes more and more personalized with the content that it's going to deliver to you. So all of a sudden, it's teaching you things that you didn't even know you wanted to learn. And this is a really fun experience for people that, again, is relatively new. Your TV never taught you something unexpectedly. I mean, once in a blue moon, you'd see something in a TV show and you'd be like, oh, I didn't know that. But with TikTok, it's delivered at a much, much higher rate to where you're coming back again and again. It becomes almost addictive. So what are some of the types of videos that work on TikTok for education? You got to make sure it's fun because no one wants to be bored while they're learning. You also want to capture people's imagination. You can use bright colors. You can use fun props by doing this. You can use different styles and techniques of drawing or visually demonstrating the information. You also want to make sure that what you're teaching people is something they can actually use and implement. The more relatable, the better. And it's also something that is, again, going to empower people, whether they use that information or not. The idea that they could, the idea in their head that they will, makes people more empowered. So if you guys want to get in touch with me, hit me up at my email address, but I'll jump back to the comments now. See if we have any questions about TikTok. I really love to see the way that TikTok is progressing. Let's see if I can. Okay, there we are. Awesome. So we don't got any questions right now. Totally cool. I do still want to tell you guys about a couple things that have changed in TikTok recently to the best of my observations. So one is that in addition to there being a click-through link in the bio, they are starting to implement click-through links attached to videos, individual videos. It is not like Instagram where you're going to swipe away from the video or swipe left or right. There's actually a little tag that you're going to click on that's going to take you to a web page that is embedded native within the app. So you're not leaving the app. They're getting very clever, right? They say, no, you're not leaving our app. You can buy something, but you're staying in the app. And as soon as you purchase, right back to your videos, get back to scrolling. So I think, most of the social apps are definitely going to follow suit in terms of updating their features to make purchasing direct in the app instead of going to a new website where people have the ability to even copy the URL to then paste into their browser. I think, TikTok's got a handle on realizing the fewer elements that there are for you to get distracted by, the more you forget that those elements were even an option and you focus in on the content. Our brains have such a developed ability to get distracted, especially in the world we live in today with flashing signs everywhere, flashing lights, lights in our pocket that are blinking and beeping and making noise at us. And the more that with a piece of technology, you can tune out all the distractions, the more powerful and immersive that technology becomes. That's how VR is so immersive. It's because you all of a sudden are not focusing on, with any part of your brain, anything else. And that's kind of a powerful experience. And one of the reasons why TikTok has such a power to affect our emotions, probably why so many people turn to TikTok when they're feeling a little bit bad. I bet you there are millions of people who have developed a habit that they don't even realize when they feel even a little slight discomfort, to the point, again, they're not really too aware that they're unhappy, but they'll pull out their phone just without even thinking about it. Their brain will automatically, subconsciously pull it out. They'll open TikTok and start scrolling, and they'll feel better. TikTok has that power to affect us like that. And figuring out how you can become a part of that system and take advantage of the attention that is there, of the subconscious brain activity that exists on the platform, I think that you are going to be able to build something that is not only leverageable, but lasts a lot longer than things you would build on other platforms. This is a hypothesis, you guys. But I think if you build a following on TikTok, that following's much more interested in who you are, what you're doing, and where they can find your content. I have people ask me all the time if I have a YouTube channel, or tell me that I should, start a YouTube channel and post more videos on it because they want to see more. And this is something I really think about. I think, what if in 10 years, when all of these 13-year-olds are 23, I still have 2 million followers? And what if by then all 2 million of them are really loyal? Because I've had 10 years to develop that loyalty. Whew, what a selling or buying power that is, right? What an amazing force of humanity that is. I'm really starting to dive deep into how do you deepen your audience? How do you create even tighter bonds, even tighter relationships? And right now, my thoughts on that are communication. We value communication so heavily, from the number of conversations to the value within each conversation. Conversating and communicating are something we value even more than money. I know this to be true. I can think of many times in my life when someone spent money basically to be able to keep talking to me in a store, in a product purchase relationship. So where someone would keep spending money on our glass pieces so that they felt like they could keep messaging me on Instagram and keep getting that response. So, figuring out how do you create communications that are super meaningful to your customers, super meaningful to your audience is where I'm really focusing a lot of my attention and energy. And it's where I think most businesses should be as well, because the value in communication is so incredibly high. We got a comment here from Dilmer who says he's seen specific content get way more traffic than others. For instance, people dancing versus educational videos. Do I have any input on that? So yes, you have not seen nearly a large enough sample size. It's just inaccurate what you've seen. There are not more views on dancing videos weighted against educational videos. There are tons of educational videos that also have millions of views. But here's the other thing. If a lot of people say they don't like the dancing videos, yet they'll watch the whole video. If this is the behavior you're exhibiting, you are confusing the app. It doesn't know what's going on in your head if you're also watching the whole video. Those are conflicting data points. It's probably tracking your facial expressions. But again, if you watch the whole video, that probably overrides any like frowns that you made while you were watching the video for it to go, yeah, he likes dancing videos or she likes dancing videos. Throw a couple more in there. And the other thing is it's going to pepper in random content for two reasons. One, it keeps it fresh. You don't want to get into a boring pattern. You want it to always be new and interesting, and you're always looking for a pleasant surprise. The other reason is that actually having bad contrasting content makes you appreciate and enjoy the good content. Have you guys ever noticed how after a while of looking at delicious pictures of desserts, it's just kind of whatever? At first you're like, oh my God, look at that chocolate cake. And then after 10 minutes, you're scrolling, you're like, chocolate cake, raspberry cake, ice cream. So what having some really bad content mixed in with the good content makes you go, oh, that was awful. And oh, this is so much better. And so it keeps you in a state of really being able to be easily satisfied. People are not easy to please in general. And the fact that overwhelmingly when people use TikTok, they go, that was a lot of fun. Even doing it for multiple hours and going, oops, I really shouldn't have spent so much time on the platform, but it sure was fun, or I sure did enjoy it, and I'm probably going to do it again. That is really significant and something to pay attention to. We got another question from Noah. What sells more between pure educative and pure fun stuff? So I always think that education will sell more in the long run than entertainment, unless there's some huge disparity in exposure, right? So attention is a significant thing at all levels, whether that attention is around a stupid video or whether that attention is around a valuable educational video. Attention matters. But let's talk about two videos that had the same amount of attention. I always think education is going to play a more valuable long-term role and benefit than an entertainment video. We always find new things that entertain us. And again, we get bored with the same type of entertainment. But when I learn something, I feel that good feeling of learning it forever. I don't stop. I don't get to this point where I'm like, it's whatever that, I know that now. Usually, it diminishes somewhat from going, oh, cool, I just learned this new thing, to like, yeah, it's cool that I know that thing now. But it's a much more long-lasting emotional tie and emotional connection and experience, in my opinion. All right, guys, you're amazing. If you have any questions for me, as always, you can reach me on LinkedIn, you can reach me on Instagram, and you can reach me via YouTube. Via email. YouTube was on my brain, you guys. monkeyboyarts@gmail.com. I love helping businesses communicate impactful stories through video. So not just creating videos that get a lot of views, although again, that's important too, but really creating videos where the views matter and the views have impact. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. If you're ever interested in being a guest on my LinkedIn Live show, please reach out to me via email, and we will be back at it again tomorrow.